The Philadelphia Derringer holds a dark place in American history. It was this weapon that killed President Abraham Lincoln. This tiny single-shot pistol packed a massive punch for its size, earning the nickname pocket cannon among those who carried them. Henry Derringer originally designed this caplock pistol in Philadelphia, creating a weapon that measured just 6 inches total with a barrel length of only 2.5 inches. The gun weighed 8 ounces, lighter than your phone, deadlier than anything in Ford's theater that night, making it perfect for concealment in a coat pocket or waistband. John Wilkes Booth chose this exact model from a matched pair he owned, complete with a custom bullet mold that let him cast his own ammunition. 44 caliber lead ball it fired was powered by approximately 15 to 20 grains of black powder, generating enough momentum to be lethal at close range despite the short barrel. Inside Ford's theater that night, Booth waited in the presidential box until the perfect moment during the play's loudest laugh line, then fired the fatal shot from just a few feet away. The Derringer's effective range topped out at about 25 feet, which made it strictly a close-quarters weapon. Modern non-firing replicas sell for $50 to $200, while functional reproductions can cost between $300 and $600. The original pistol that Booth used sits in the Ford's Theater National Historic Site Museum, considered priceless due to its historical significance. What makes this particular gun fascinating is that Booth actually purchased his set with walnut grips specifically because he thought they would look better when displayed in a museum someday. Now here's what's bizarre. The next assassin, Charles Guiteau, made the exact same choice Booth would have made. He wanted his gun to look good in a museum, but unlike Booth, he was still alive to see where it ended up. Weebly British Bulldog. Charles Guiteau selected a Weebly British Bulldog revolver to assassinate President James Garfield at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station. This British-designed pocket revolver became one of the most copied handguns of the late 19th century, with dozens of manufacturers producing their own versions. The genuine Weebly Bulldog featured a 5-shot cylinder chambered for the .44 Bulldog cartridge, which fired a 168 to 170 grain lead bullet propelled by 15 grains of black powder. The gun measured 7 inches overall with a 2.5-inch barrel and weighed 20 ounces, making it substantially heavier than the Derringer, but still easily concealed. Guiteau specifically chose a model with ivory grips over the standard wood ones because he believed the gun would eventually be displayed in a museum and wanted it to look impressive. The double-action mechanism allowed rapid fire without manually cocking the hammer between shots, a significant tactical advantage over single-action revolvers of the period. At the train station that July morning, Guiteau approached Garfield from behind in the waiting area and fired twice at point-blank range. The Bulldog's effective range extended to about 20 yards, though most defensive shootings with these revolvers occurred at much closer distances. The 442 Webley cartridge delivered respectable stopping power for its size, though Garfield actually survived the initial shooting and died 11 weeks later from infections related to his wounds. Original Bulldogs now command high prices when they appear at auction, with replicas ranging from $200 to $500 depending on quality and functionality. The actual weapon Guiteau used resides in a museum collection as a priceless artifact of American history. Guiteau's ivory-handled Bulldog did make it to a museum, but the next gun would make history twice, killing 2 different leaders, 28 years apart, and the second time, the victim saw it coming. The FN Model 1910 holds the dubious distinction of triggering World War I when Gavrilo Princip used one to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo on June 28, 1914. John Browning made this semi-automatic pistol specifically for the European market. Princip's pistol, serial number 19074, was one of 4 identical guns supplied to the assassins by the Black Hand organization. The Model 1910 chambered either .32 ACP or .380 ACP ammunition, with Princip's gun using the more powerful .380 version that fired a 95-grain full-metal jacket bullet at 950 feet per second. The pistol measured just 6 inches long with a 3.4-inch barrel and weighed 20 ounces loaded. Its single-stack magazine held 6 rounds plus 1 in the chamber, giving the assassin 7 shots total. In the morning, the Archduke's motorcade took a wrong turn and stopped directly in front of Princip at a delicatessen. The assassin stepped forward and fired twice from less than 5 feet away. The shot hit both Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie. The Model 1910's effective range extended to 50 yards, though its simple sights and mild recoil made it particularly suited for close-range defensive use. The gun featured Browning's signature tilting barrel design and a grip safety that prevented firing unless properly held. The original assassination weapon now sits in the Heeresgeschichtliches Museum in Vienna as a priceless historical artifact. Original FN Model 1910 pistols sell for $500 to $1,000 today, while replicas rarely appear on the market and cost between $300 and $600 when available. FN produced over 700,000 Model 1910s between 1912 and 1983, making it one of the longest produced handgun designs in history. That single gun just triggered a war that killed 20 million people. But here's a detail that will chill you. 3 identical FN Model 1910s are still missing from that Serbian plot. They're still out there. Meanwhile, in India, another assassination was about to prove that even the world's most peaceful movements could end in 3 pulls of a trigger. A Beretta M1934 ended Mahatma Gandhi's life on January 30, 1948, when Nathuram Godse fired 3 shots at point-blank range during an outdoor prayer gathering in New Delhi. This Italian military pistol became one of the most widely distributed sidearms of World War II, with hundreds of thousands seeing service across multiple continents. The specific gun used, serial number 606824, was manufactured in 1934 and originally issued to an Italian army officer before making its way through various hands to reach Godse. The M1934 fired .380 ACP ammunition from a 7-round magazine plus 1 in the chamber, giving the shooter 8 rounds total. Each cartridge contained a 95-grain full metal jacket bullet that achieved similar ballistics to the FN Model 1910. The pistol measured 6 inches overall with a 3.7-inch barrel and weighed 23 ounces, making it relatively heavy for a pocket pistol, but contributing to its excellent reliability and accuracy. Godse approached Gandhi in the garden of Birla House and bowed before pulling the Beretta from his clothing and firing 3 rapid shots. The M1934's straight blowback operation made it simple and robust, while its exposed hammer allowed both single and double action firing. The effective range stretched to 50 yards, though Italian officers often complained about the .380 ACP cartridge's limited stopping power compared to the 9mm Parabellum used by their enemies. Original Beretta M1934 pistols currently sell for $400 to $500 on the used market, while the actual assassination weapon remains on display at the Gandhi Smriti Museum. The Italian military produced over 1 million of these pistols between 1934 and 1991, with commercial production continuing even longer. The exposed barrel design became a Beretta trademark that continues in their modern pistols today. Stop, notice the pattern yet? Every gun so far was bought legally. Every single one. The next rifle, purchased through a mail-order catalog for less than $20. It would become the most analyzed weapon in criminal history, and every test would reveal something investigators didn't expect. The Mannlicher Carcano rifle gained infamy when Lee Harvey Oswald allegedly used one to assassinate President John F. Kennedy in Dallas on November 22, 1963. This Italian military surplus rifle was often mockingly called the humanitarian rifle. Wait, humanitarian? The name becomes darkly ironic in about 60 seconds due to its reputation for poor quality, though testing proved it capable of remarkable accuracy when properly maintained. Oswald's rifle, purchased through mail order for $19.95, including a cheap Japanese scope, fired 6.5 x 52mm ammunition loaded with 160-grain full metal jacket bullets at approximately 2,300 feet per second. The bolt-action rifle used a 6-round M-block clip that dropped through the bottom of the action when empty, producing a distinctive metallic ping. The rifle measured 40 inches overall with a 21-inch barrel and weighed 8 pounds with the scope mounted. From his 6th-floor window in the Texas School Book Depository, Oswald fired 3 shots in approximately 8 seconds at the presidential motorcade passing through Dealey Plaza below. The Mannlicher Carcano's effective range extended to 400 yards, though the combination of iron sights or cheap optics and full-power military ammunition made it challenging for inexperienced shooters to achieve consistent accuracy. The rifle's gain twist rifling, which increased the rate of spin as the bullet traveled down the barrel, contributed to excellent long-range stability when firing the long, heavy Italian military bullets. Italian forces used various versions of the Carcano from 1891 through World War II, producing millions of rifles that later flooded the American surplus market in the 1960s. The original assassination rifle sits in the National Archives as crucial evidence in one of history's most analyzed crimes. Modern reproductions sell for $200 to $400, though most are actually original surplus rifles rather than true reproductions. The rifle's role in the Kennedy assassination transformed it from an obscure military surplus rifle into one of the most infamous firearms in American history. 3 shots in 8 seconds, officially impossible, said the critics, until marksmen recreated it successfully over and over. But while America obsessed over those 3 shots, another Kennedy was about to face 8. This time, there would be no conspiracy theories. The killer would confess everything. Homemade shotgun. The assassination of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe on July 8, 2022 demonstrated how even strict gun control cannot prevent determined attackers from obtaining weapons. Tetsuya Yamagami constructed a double-barreled shotgun from plumbing pipes and wood, using electrical components for ignition. Yamagami's improvised weapon measured approximately 40 by 20 centimeters when assembled, consisting of 2 metal pipes mounted on a wooden board with electrical firing mechanisms attached to each barrel. He loaded the pipes with gunpowder and steel balls. Yes, he found a way to get real ammunition in Japan's strict system of shotgun shells. he had either made or acquired, each containing multiple pellets that spread out after firing. The crude weapon had an effective range of just 10 to 20 feet, requiring the assassin to approach very close to his target during Abe's speech near a Nara train station. The killer spent months constructing and testing multiple versions of his homemade guns in remote mountain areas, using online tutorials and trial and error to refine his designs. The electrical ignition system used batteries and simple circuits to ignite the shotgun primers, eliminating the need for mechanical firing pins or hammers. Despite its primitive construction, the weapon proved lethal at close range when Yamagami fired both barrels in rapid succession. No commercial replicas exist of this improvised weapon, and the original remains in police evidence. The assassination highlighted growing concerns about 3D printed and homemade firearms circumventing traditional gun control measures. Japan's strict gun laws, which result in fewer than 10 gun deaths annually in a nation of 125 million people, could not prevent someone with basic mechanical skills and internet access from creating a functional firearm. Pause. Think about what we just saw. Months of preparation, homemade weapons, all to fire 2 shots. The next assassination would use the opposite approach: overwhelming firepower, multiple shooters, and the world's most common military rifle. This wasn't an assassination, it was an execution. Egyptian President Anwar Sadat was killed by multiple AK-47 assault rifles on October 6, 1981, during a military parade in Cairo. Army officers who belonged to the Egyptian Islamic Jihad jumped from a truck during the parade and opened fire on the reviewing stand with their service weapons. The AK-47, designed by Mikhail Kalashnikov in the Soviet Union, fired 7.62 by 39mm ammunition from 30-round detachable magazines. Each cartridge contained a 122-grain full metal jacket bullet traveling at 2,300 feet per second, delivering devastating terminal effects at typical combat ranges. The rifle measured 35 inches overall with a 16-inch barrel and weighed approximately 9 pounds loaded. During the assassination, the attackers fired on full automatic, spraying dozens of rounds into the reviewing stand in just seconds. The Kalashnikov's effective range extended to 300 yards. Though most military forces trained soldiers to engage targets within 200 yards, where hit probability remained high. The rifle's simple gas-operated design functioned reliably, even when dirty or poorly maintained, contributing to its adoption by over 100 nations and countless irregular forces. The loose tolerances that enabled this reliability also limited accuracy compared to Western rifles, though this mattered little during the close-range assassination. Modern semi-automatic AK-47 replicas sell for $500 to $1,000 in the United States, while the actual weapons used in Sadat's assassination were never preserved as artifacts. Over 100 million AK pattern rifles have been produced since 1947, making it the most widely distributed assault rifle in history. The weapon became a symbol of revolutionary movements worldwide, appearing on flags and coats of arms from Mozambique to Hezbollah. Sadat's killers were soldiers using military weapons, but what happens when the bodyguards themselves are the assassins? When the very people sworn to protect you pull the trigger? India was about to find out. Sten Mek-2 and Tef-38 special revolver. Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated by 2 of her Sikh bodyguards on October 31, 1984, using their service weapons, a Sten Mek-2 submachine gun and a Tef-38 special revolver. The attack occurred in the garden pathway of her New Delhi residence as she walked to an interview. Beant Singh initiated the attack with his Tef-38 special revolver, a standard-issue sidearm that held 6 rounds of ammunition. The revolver featured a 4-inch barrel and measured 9 inches overall while weighing 30 ounces. Each Tef-38 special cartridge contained a 158-grain lead bullet that provided reliable stopping power at typical law enforcement ranges. Singh fired 3 rounds at close range before Satwant Singh opened fire with his Sten gun. The Sten Mek-2 represented British wartime engineering at its most pragmatic, designed for mass production at minimal cost. The submachine gun fired 9x19mm parabellum ammunition from a 32-round side-mounted magazine, with each 115-grain full metal jacket bullet traveling at moderate velocity. The weapon measured 30 inches overall with a 7.7-inch barrel and weighed just 7 pounds. The Sten could fire at approximately 500 rounds per minute on full automatic, allowing Satwant Singh to empty most of his magazine in seconds. Magazine's more specific capacity is 32 rounds. Satwant Singh fired 30, leaving 2 unfired. Both weapons had effective ranges around 50 to 100 yards, though the garden pathway assassination occurred at point-blank range. The British produced over 4 million Sten guns during World War II for less than $10 per unit, distributing them to resistance forces across occupied Europe. Deactivated Sten replicas now sell for around $300, while functional .38 special revolvers cost $300 to $500 on the used market. Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum. Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme's assassination on February 28, 1986, remains one of Europe's most famous unsolved murders. Ballistic evidence suggests the killer used a Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum revolver, though the actual weapon was never recovered despite Swedish police tracing over 10,000 similar guns. The .357 Magnum cartridge, developed by Smith & Wesson in 1934, represented a significant advance in handgun power. The round fired a 125-grain jacketed hollow-point bullet at 1,450 feet per second, delivering nearly twice the energy of the .38 Special it was based on. The revolver likely used measured between 10 and 12 inches overall with a 4 to 6 inch barrel and weighed approximately 40 ounces. On that snowy Stockholm street, the assassin fired 2 shots at Palm and his wife as they walked home from a cinema without bodyguards. The .357 Magnum's effective range extended to 50 yards for trained shooters, though the powerful recoil made rapid, accurate fire challenging. The cartridge's high velocity and energy made it popular with law enforcement and hunters who needed guaranteed stopping power. Swedish investigators determined the bullets were Winchester or Remington manufacture based on recovered fragments, though this narrowed the search only marginally. .357 Magnum revolvers currently sell for $600 to $900 as replicas or used guns. The unsolved nature of the Palm case means no assassination weapon exists in evidence, adding to the mystery surrounding one of Sweden's darkest moments. Over 30 years later, investigators continue pursuing leads, with the case generating countless conspiracy theories about who pulled the trigger that winter night. 30 years, 10,000 traced guns, 0 arrests. The Palm case remains unsolved. The weapon vanished forever. But our next assassination has the opposite problem. We know exactly who pulled the trigger. Heckler & Koch G3. Serbian Prime Minister Zoran Djindjic was assassinated with a Heckler & Koch G3 rifle on March 12, 2003, by a sniper positioned in a building across from the government headquarters in Belgrade. The assassination was carried out by members of a special operations unit turned criminal organization. The G3 battle rifle fired 7.62 by 51mm NATO ammunition, the same powerful cartridge used in medium machine guns. Each 147-grain full metal jacket bullet left the barrel at 2,800 feet per second, maintaining lethal energy well beyond typical engagement ranges. The rifle measured 40 inches overall with a 17.7-inch barrel and weighed 9.7 pounds without accessories. The sniper fired a single shot that struck Djindjic in the chest as he exited his vehicle. The G3's roller-delayed blowback operating system provided exceptional accuracy for a military rifle, making it popular for designated marksman and sniper applications. The effective range extended to 400 yards with iron sights, though properly equipped sniper variants could achieve consistent hits at twice that distance. Heckler & Koch licensed G3 production to numerous countries, resulting in over 7 million rifles manufactured since the 1950s. G3 replicas and surplus rifles currently sell for over $1,000 in the United States. The actual assassination weapon remains in evidence storage in Serbia. The rifle's widespread adoption by over 70 nations made it one of the most successful battle rifles of the Cold War era, serving from jungle conflicts in Africa to mountain warfare in Kashmir. Mauser C96. King Alexander Varst of Yugoslavia was assassinated with a Mauser C96 pistol on October 9, 1934, during a state visit to Marseille, France. Vlado Chernozemski, a Bulgarian revolutionary, jumped onto the running board of the king's car and fired at close range. The Mauser C96, nicknamed the broom handle for its distinctive grip shape, represented one of the first successful semi-automatic pistols. The weapon fired 7.63 Bull 25mm Mauser ammunition from an internal 20-round magazine loaded via stripper clips. Each 85-grain full metal jacket bullet achieved 1,450 feet per second, unusually high velocity for a pistol cartridge. The gun measured 12 inches overall with a 5.5-inch barrel and weighed 40 ounces, making it large for a handgun but stable during rapid fire. During the Marseille attack, Chernozemski managed to fire multiple shots before being cut down by a cavalry saber wielded by a mounted guard. The C96's effective range reached 100 yards, with some variants including detachable shoulder stocks that converted them into carbines. Over 1 million C96 pistols were produced between 1896 and 1937, seeing service in countless conflicts from the Boer War to the Chinese Civil War. Original C96 pistols now command $1,000 to $2,000 on the collector market, with rare variants bringing much higher prices. The Mauser's distinctive appearance made it a favorite in films and literature, appearing everywhere from Star Wars to the writings of Ernest Hemingway. Winchester Model 1907. King Carlos I of Portugal and his heir were assassinated with Winchester Model 1907 rifles on February 3, 1908, as their carriage crossed Lisbon's Commerce Square. Republican revolutionaries opened fire from multiple positions, killing both royals in seconds. The Winchester 1907 represented cutting-edge technology for its era, being one of the first successful semi-automatic rifles offered to civilians. The rifle fired .351 Winchester self-loading ammunition from detachable magazines holding 5 to 15 rounds. Each 180-grain soft-point bullet delivered substantial energy for hunting or combat use. The rifle measured 39 inches overall with a 20-inch barrel and weighed approximately 8 pounds. The blowback-operated action proved simple and reliable, though the powerful cartridge required a heavy bolt and strong recoil spring that made the rifle somewhat unwieldy. The effective range extended to 200 yards, though the rifle's intended role as a hunting and police weapon emphasized shorter ranges. Winchester marketed the 1907 to law enforcement agencies and prison guards who needed more firepower than handguns provided. Original Winchester 1907 rifles have become quite rare, with functional examples selling for over $1,000 when they appear at auction. The rifle's advanced design influenced later semi-automatic rifles, though its powerful cartridge and heavy recoil limited widespread adoption. The Portuguese assassinations marked one of the first uses of semi-automatic rifles in a political killing, demonstrating how emerging technology could shift the balance between protectors and attackers. 2 Royals, multiple rifles, seconds to change Portugal forever. But remember the FN Model 1910 that started World War I? It's about to appear again, this time in Louisiana. This time, we're still not sure who really pulled the trigger. FN Model 1910.32 ACP. The death of Louisiana Senator Huey Long on September 8, 1935, involved an FN Model 1910 and .32 ACP, though controversy persists about whether Carl Weiss's bullet or friendly fire from Long's bodyguards actually killed him. The confrontation occurred in a hallway of the Louisiana State Capitol building. This .32 ACP variant of the Model 1910 shared the same basic design as its .380 counterpart, but fired a less powerful cartridge. The Poisvetter .32 ACP round contained a 71-grain full-metal jacket bullet that provided adequate penetration with minimal recoil. The pistol specifications remained nearly identical to the .380 version at 6 inches overall with a 3.4-inch barrel, though it weighed slightly less at 19 ounces. Weiss allegedly approached Long in the Capitol hallway and either punched him or immediately drew his pistol, with witness accounts varying dramatically. Long's bodyguards responded with overwhelming firepower, firing dozens of rounds that killed Weiss instantly. The debate continues whether Long died from Weiss's single shot or from a ricochet or stray bullet from his own security detail. Modern ballistic analysis suggests the fatal wounds angle supports the friendly fire theory. The actual FN Model 1910 used in the incident resides in the Louisiana State Museum as a controversial artifact. Original Pontzbelio ACP Model 1910 pistols sell for $400 to $800 today, slightly less than their .380 counterparts due to the less desirable caliber. If you enjoyed this video, click that subscribe button and I would see you in the next video.